I've been playing the Assassin's Creed games since the first one came out back in 2007. I am getting old. I've never really thought about how the franchise has changed and grown over the years. It's just been a constant in my life since I was probably 17. And then in 2024, I watched the Assassin's Creed Shadows announcement trailer on YouTube. Now, instead of feeling excited like I had when I'd seen the trailer for Valhalla, I felt nothing. I didn't feel excitement or disappointment. Just nothing. I didn't care. So I did a little bit of Googling because I'd seen all the internet nerds getting unnecessarily worked up over the fact that there's a black samurai. And then I realised that Mirage had been a thing, and I'd never even known that had existed until this point. So I wondered when I stopped caring. When I stopped caring about this franchise that I'd considered myself to be a fan of. So I decided to do something slightly insane. I would play them all back to back, and 2 years ago, I decided to start my odyssey. I enjoyed the highs and the lows, excitement and soul-killing boredom. I did have to take roughly 6 to 8 months break when I hit a certain point for various reasons, but trust me, we will cover that swamp of boredom when we get there. So I started at the beginning and decided to replay every game in the franchise to see if I had rose-tinted glasses, or if the franchise that I've always enjoyed was always just mediocre at best. Was I just gaslighting myself into enjoying the games out of some weird sense of brand loyalty? Or even worse, just like your parents stuck in a loveless marriage, was it just sunk cost fallacy at this point? So let's travel back to 2007, when I was the tender age of 17, and I was staying at a friend's house, and he introduced me to a game he'd just bought. So get ready, because I'm about to ruin the story of this game and every other game in the series. I'm going to point out all the things that worked and all the things that didn't. Interestingly enough, Assassin's Creed started out as something completely different. It was meant to be a spiritual successor to the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Ubisoft initially imagined a game where a bodyguard would protect a prince. But over time, this idea grew and changed and evolved, and the bodyguard became more interesting than the prince, and Ubisoft then switched focus. And eventually, the team decided to create an entirely new intellectual property, one that was built around movement, stealth, history, science fiction, and assassination. Ubisoft had a huge challenge ahead of them. No game had ever tried to combine all these ideas at once. The cities needed to feel like giant climbing structures. Crowds needed to support stealth gameplay, and historical accuracy needed to blend with science fiction. Every system required massive gaming innovations, and the result was one of the most ambitious debuts of the 7th console generation, and it changed open world games forever, for better or worse. The first surprise comes right away. Players aren't the medieval badass in a hoodie, Altaïr, that we've all seen in the trailers and the promotional material. Instead, we control a bit of a wet wiper, a bloke, Desmond Miles. He's a plain bartender who was kidnapped by a massive corporation, Abstergo Industries. Desmond is forced by some bird called Lucy Tillman and Warren Vidic into a machine called the Animus. In the game's universe, human DNA stores ancestral experiences, and that can be relived through the Animus. So, by reliving these memories, individuals can see the lives of their ancestors. This idea, which is rather interesting, actually achieves quite a few things at once. It tells us about the history of the game and where it all takes place. It also sets up a story for the present day. It even justifies mission failures with the dreaded desynchronization screens. Plus, it brings in some science fiction stuff, and it gives us a way to imagine a story that could last for hundreds of years. What looks like just a way to start things off soon becomes the whole reason for this series. In games, most heroes start out not so great, which makes the player feel like they're getting better and more accomplished as they play, along with the character. But Altaïr starts out really strong. Most heroes start humble. Altaïr starts out thinking that he's better than everybody else. Most heroes become legends as they go along, whereas Altaïr spends his story trying to make things right and become a proper decent person. When we first meet him, he's already one of the Brotherhood's best assassins. He's a master at what he does. He is respected, feared, accomplished, and famous. But the thing is, he's not bad at anything. He's not used to failure. He's too proud, and his ego is too big. He thinks he's got everything figured out, and that he's the best at everything. Altaïr thinks he knows everything about everyone, including his bosses, his enemies, the creed, his mission, and himself. He's wrong, and the whole story is about showing him that he's wrong. Our story kicks off beneath Solomon's temple, setting the stage for everything that happens next. Now I'm going to apologise quickly, because I am a simple Yorkshireman and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of character names and locations. Now with that said, let's continue. Altaïr joins his fellow assassins, Malik al-Saif and Qadar al-Saif. Their mission is straightforward. They've got to recover a mysterious artifact before their rivals, the Templars. Naturally, things don't go as planned. Malik advises caution, but Altaïr, being the cocky douche canoe that he is, ignores him. The creed demands discipline. Altaïr is confident it will all work out. His team trusts him, but he fails them. Qadar is killed, Malik loses an arm, and the mission goes horribly wrong. This mistake isn't just bad luck, it's a consequence. It's a consequence of Altaïr's cockiness. The game quickly shows that Altaïr's biggest enemy isn't the Templars, it's his own arrogance. The first Assassin's Creed game is really interesting because the story and how you play it are connected. Mualim confronts Altaïr, strips him of his rank, and puts him in his place. The player loses their abilities. They lose the advanced sword techniques and equipment. The throwing knives are also removed, so we have to start from scratch. Altaïr's status is completely erased. So as Altaïr improves throughout the story, these tools will gradually return. The game turns mechanical progress into character growth. Every ability shows you've earned something. It's not just a reward or a level up, it's a chance to redeem yourself. Assassin's Creed is actually quite simple. In concept, the game is broken into memory blocks. Now each memory block has a similar structure and rhythm. First, the player will receive a target, travel to a city, gather intelligence on the target, plan an infiltration, execute the assassination, and then escape enemy pursuit. Then, you return back to Big Daddy Al for a debriefing, and repeat. Now, many critics thought the formula got old. And I agree. The first time I played back in 2007, I remember getting to a point where I was just about done, right as the game was ending. But this time, the repetitive nature of the structure started to bother me a lot sooner. But understanding this goal reveals something interesting. Ubisoft was trying to show what it was like to be a professional assassin. The assassination is just the last step. Getting ready is the real mission, and as Benjamin Franklin once said, by not preparing, you are preparing to fail. So information becomes the player's main weapon. Every target is a puzzle, and every clue is a tool. Every assassination has a satisfying solution. The Holy Land is more than just a backdrop. It feels like a character all on its own. Now, unlike many open-world games of the time, Assassin's Creed cities weren't built mainly for fun. They were designed as systems. Every rooftop, alleyway, tower, market, everything had a purpose in the game, and Ubisoft took a different approach to city design than most other developers. Instead of focusing on size, they focused on how packed everything was. Players weren't meant to wander around the city. They were meant to move through it. Buildings connect naturally. Balconies become paths, and wooden beams link the rooftops together. Playing this back today, even though it might look a little bit rough by today's standards and janky in some places, it is still pretty impressive. The world constantly encourages you to climb. For maybe the first time in gaming, cities felt like they were designed specifically for people to walk through and not just drive around in. And each city had its own special feel. Damascus stands for wealth, trade, commerce, and life. Its streets are full and crowded and lush. Its markets are lively, its buildings are elegant. The city feels alive in a way that many open worlds from 2007 just don't. From a gameplay point of view, Damascus is one of the best places for sneaky social play. There are big crowds that open up lots of chances. Merchants can be a bit of a distraction. Scholars can offer some cover. And the city rewards those who move with patience and care. Damascus shows us what civilization can do when it works well. It's a bustling city, but like any big city, there's corruption underneath. There are weapons dealers, slave traders, and conspirators. The city shows one of Assassin's Creed's common ideas. Beauty and ugliness are often right next to each other. Like if I stand outside with your mum. If Damascus is about wealth and happiness, Acre is the opposite. It's about poverty and destruction. The Crusades have left their mark on the city. It feels heavier, colder, and more oppressive. Buildings are dull and worn. People are tired and burnt out. Military presence is everywhere. Now in gameplay, Acre often has more guarded areas. Parkour is riskier, and moving around openly is a lot more dangerous. The city makes you feel like you're really navigating a war zone and dealing with corruption. As a player, you're not just visiting a war zone, you are trying to navigate through it. Jerusalem is the heart of the game's ideas. It's where the three big religions meet. You've got Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Each one of these is trying to get more power, meaning, and influence. Jerusalem really captures Assassin's Creed's love for the idea that things aren't always as they seem. It's like how everyone today thinks they're right, and they're so sure of themselves. But sadly, that certainty often leads to arguments and in many cases violence. So Jerusalem is the perfect setting for a story that's all about questioning what we think we know. The kingdom is what connects all the main cities. It's like your mum. It's often overlooked, misunderstood, and not really appreciated. Many players just saw this as an empty space, but it's more than just a way to get around. The kingdom helps us understand the scale, the distance, and context of the world. Without it, the cities would feel disconnected and fake. Instead, players get to see the Crusades happening right there in front of them. They see villages destroyed. You see soldiers patrolling, people fleeing. You see battles. The war becomes real and tangible, and it's not just something that you hear about in dialogue. It's something that you experience through exploration. One of Assassin's Creed's most ambitious and fascinating systems is something that many players don't even realise that they're using. This is the puppeteer system. Instead of just giving buttons to actions, Ubisoft gave buttons to body parts. It might seem simple, but it had some big effects. The head button managed how you saw things. The left arm handled the hidden blade, and the right arm was for fighting. The legs were for moving around, and this setup made Altaïr feel super responsive, which was a bit of a treat for the time. Everything flowed smoothly from one action right into the next, and it really focused on how you moved. Players weren't just giving commands, you were controlling a whole body. This way of thinking would shape the franchise for years to come. And then we've got the profile system. The real magic is in the profile states. Low profile means that you're calm and in control and disciplined. You're walking quietly, blending in, staying hidden. High profile is all about being aggressive. You're taking risks, running, climbing, leaping, attacking. Every move changes based on which profile that you're using. It's all very elegant and impressive, and as a player, you're always deciding whether to act like a citizen or an assassin. This choice affects everything that you do in the game. Parkour is now one of those things that you think about whenever you think of Assassin's Creed. But back in 2007, it felt fresh, exciting, and amazing. Most games saw walls as obstacles, and Assassin's Creed saw them as innovations. It gave the game a sense of space and height. The systems can be a little bit confusing, and it's often called automatic, but parkour really depends on choosing the right path, not about the execution. The real question isn't, can I climb this? The answer is always, yeah, and what is the best route? Players constantly need to evaluate architecture. Wooden beams would suggest new pathways, ledges create new opportunities, and balconies link structures together. After a little bit of time, experienced players begin reading buildings like maps, and eventually movement becomes instinctive, a conversation between player and environment. And when you find your flow state, parkour and free running across rooftops can be extremely satisfying, and it was miles ahead of anything of its time as a gameplay mechanic. Although now a massively played out trope and hugely overdone by Ubisoft by dropping these little knobheads in almost every game they've made since, the synchronization towers became one of gaming's most recognisable activities. Each point serves several functions: revealing the map, progress tracking, navigation, exploration rewards, environmental storytelling, and most importantly, they teach movement. Every tower acts as a lesson. Each climb demonstrates traversal possibilities and becomes its own little mini puzzle. You feel a sense of accomplishment as you find your way to the top, finding ledgers and hand placements before future AC protagonists essentially all became Spider-Man. Each viewpoint encourages observation, and each leap of faith reinforces trust. Trust in the Brotherhood, trust in the Animus, and trust in yourself. Perhaps no other mechanic better captures the essence of Assassin's Creed than its social stealth. Now, back when games like some of my favourites, Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid, focused on shadows, sneakiness, and darkness, Assassin's Creed took a very different approach. It often felt like the safest spot was the most obvious one. You could stand right in front of guards in a crowd if you played your cards right and didn't act like a complete sausage. Players could blend in with scholars, you could walk among civilians, sit on benches and stand quietly in groups, move naturally through crowds. The goal wasn't to disappear completely, it was to act like everyone else. The small difference changed how players moved. Suddenly, how you moved, how you stood, and how you paced mattered. The world became a social puzzle, not just a physical one. Guard awareness works by building up suspicion, and this is shown through different colour levels. White means that you're safe, yellow the guards are concerned, and red is hostile. Every move that you make will affect this system. Running will draw attention, and climbing makes you look suspicious. Shoving civilians causes alarm. Players are constantly having to keep an eye on how they're perceived. It's a bit like being a real undercover agent. You've got to become invisible and blend in with the crowd. It's a very clever system, and it's one that still has an impact on the franchise today. Before every assassination, there's always an investigation, and that's where Assassin's Creed really shines. It's not about picking off targets, it's about earning them through patience. Each assassination needs careful planning. Eavesdropping helps you to hear conversations. Pickpocketing gives you documents. Interrogations reveal secrets. Informants will open doors. Every clue adds up to a bigger picture. It's all like putting together a jigsaw, one piece at a time. Over the years, some people have said that this gameplay loop gets old. And you know what? That is fair. But it also has a purpose. As I've mentioned before, assassination is methodical. It's professional and deliberate. The game wants you to feel like an investigator, like a shadow in the crowd with a hidden blade, and each mission reinforces that fantasy. At first, the 9 targets seem simple. They're just villains to take out, obstacles to get past, more typical baddies. But Assassin's Creed really shines when it messes with those assumptions. Each target is an argument of philosophy. Every death is a debate. Every confession shakes up what you think. Altaïr starts out thinking his enemies are monsters, but by the end of the game, he realises something much more uncomfortable. Many of them really believe that they are helping humanity. In this next chapter, we'll look at each target in detail, what drives them, what they stand for, and their role in Altaïr's transformation. Because the real story of Assassin's Creed isn't just about fighting enemies, it's about really understanding them. Just like in real life, life isn't all black and white, but it's rather a mix of different shades of grey. The original Assassin's Creed has one of the most complex and misunderstood villain groups in gaming. Many players might remember the targets, but few remember what they will stand for. On the surface, these are just 9 men standing between Altaïr and his chance for redemption. But beneath the surface, there are 9 different arguments, 9 philosophies, and 9 attempts to answer a single question. Can humanity be trusted with its own freedom? This is something to think about, especially considering how humanity behaves as a whole in the real world. I'm not about to get political, but I think as a people we all need a bit of a wake-up call and a kick up the arse. Anyway, back to Assassin's Creed. Each assassination pushes Altaïr further from certainty and closer to understanding, because every target reveals a piece of the truth. Now I'm sorry again for butchering some of these names. Our first target is Tamir. And at first, it seems like he's the easiest one to take down. He's a shady weapons dealer in the black market. He's a cruel douche, he's violent and greedy, and he embodies the typical villain. His introduction doesn't leave much room for sympathy. He kills a merchant in public, he demands obedience, he rules through fear, but Assassin's Creed quickly throws a wrench in the works. During his confession, Tamir makes a point that's both valid and pretty unsettling. People are not nice. War is always there, no matter what you do. Violence is just a natural part of life. Weapons just make it easier. If we get rid of him, another merchant's going to step in and do the same job. The demand will always be there. Conflict will always keep going, and people will always find ways to destroy each other.
Be at peace.
You'll pay for this. You and all your kind.
It seems you're the one pays now, my friend. You'll not profit from suffering any longer.
You think me some petty death dealer, suckling at the breast of war? A strange target, don't you think? Why me, when so many others do the same?
You believe yourself different, then?
Oh, but I am. For I serve a far nobler cause than mere profit. Just like my brothers.
Brothers?
Ah, but he thinks I act alone. I am but a piece. A man with a part to play. You'll come to know the others soon enough. They won't take kindly to what you've done.
Good. I look forward to ending their lives as well.
Such pride. It will destroy you, child.
For the first time, Altaïr faces a very uncomfortable possibility. Maybe people aren't the only ones responsible for the world's sufferings. Maybe it's the systems that matter too. It's the first crack in Altaïr's understanding of the world, and it's just the beginning. Next up, we've got the healer, Garnier. Might be the most disturbing target in this game. He runs a hospital. At least that's kind of what it looks like, but it's really more of a prison. The patients here are treated worse than animals. They're restrained, drugged, controlled and experimented on. Everything about this guy and his surroundings suggests endless cruelty and sadism. He's just a horribly evil dick. But he sees things differently. In his mind, he's really making a difference. He's helping people. He's protecting them. He's healing and saving lives. He's saving them from the world and from themselves. Now things are a little bit more complicated. So what if taking away freedom really stops suffering? Can control ever be justified? Can freedom become dangerous? And these are all big questions at the heart of the game. And this guy is the first character to really bring them to light.
Let go your burden.
I'll rest now, yes. The endless dream calls to me. But before I close my eyes, I must know what will become of my children.
You mean the people made to suffer your cruel experiments? They'll be free now to return to their homes.
Homes? What homes? The sewers? The portals? The prisons that we dragged them from?
You took these people against their will.
Yes. What little will there was for them to have. Are you really so naive? Do you appease a crying child simply because he wails? But I want to play with fire, Father. What would you say? As you wish. Then you'd answer for his burn.
These are not children, but men and women full grown.
In body, perhaps, but not in mind. Which is the very damage I sought to repair. I admit, without the piece of Eden, which you stole from us, my progress was slowed. But the herbs, mixtures and extracts, my guards are proof of this. They were madmen before I found and freed them from the prisons of their own minds. And with my death, madmen they will be again.
You truly believe you were helping them?
It's not what I believe. It's what I know.
Talal seems like he can't be redeemed. He's a human trafficker, he's an absolute disgrace of a human, and a man who profits from the misery of everyone else. So surely this time, there's no moral ambiguity. But the game, again, finds some. Talal insists that he gives purpose, direction, and structure, and a reason to exist. His victims might suffer, but he believes they also survive. His philosophy is twisted, dark and horrifying, but it follows a pattern. Every target so far thinks they know what's best for others, that freedom creates suffering, and that control creates order. They use different methods, but they all believe that they're doing good in the world, and that's how the Templar worldview starts to take shape.
Nowhere to run now. Share your secrets with me.
My part is plain. The Brotherhood is not so weak that my death will stop its work.
What Brotherhood?
Mualim is not the only one with designs upon the Holy Land. And that's all you'll have from me.
Then we are finished. Beg forgiveness from your god.
He's long abandoned us. Long abandoned the men and women I took into my arms.
What do you mean?
Beggars, whores, addicts, lepers. Do they strike you as proper slaves? Unfit for even the most menial tasks? No. I took them not to sell, but to save. And yet you'd kill us all. For no other reason than it was asked of you.
No. You profit from the war. From lives lost and broken.
Yes, you would think that, ignorant as you are. Wall off your mind. They say it's what your kind do best. Do you see the irony in all this? No, not yet it seems. But you will.
Abul is one of the franchise's most fascinating minor antagonists. He's mocked, humiliated, and ridiculed by everyone around him. Years of resentment have changed him. His assassination happens during a grand celebration, but this quickly turns into a nightmare. There is poison, panic, death. He thinks that fear makes people respect him, and that power needs to be obeyed. His story brings up another Assassin's Creed idea. People who hurt often become the ones who hurt others. Like real life, suffering doesn't always make someone wise. Sometimes it can make monsters.
Be at peace now. Their words can no longer do harm.
Why have you done this?
You stole money from those you claim to lead, sent it away for some unknown purpose. I want to know where it's gone and why.
Look at me. My very nature is an affront to the people I ruled. And these noble robes did little more than to muffle their shouts of hate.
So this is about vengeance, then?
No, not vengeance, but my conscience. How could I finance a war in service to the same god that calls me an abomination?
If you do not serve Salah ad-Din's cause, then whose?
In time, you'll come to know them. I think perhaps you already do.
Then why hide? And why these dark deeds?
Is it so different from your own work? You take the lives of men and women, strong in the conviction that their deaths will improve the lots of those left behind. A minor evil for a greater good? We are the same.
No, we are nothing alike.
Ah, but I see it in your eyes. You doubt. You cannot stop us. We will have our new world.
William shows how people can use politics to get what they want. Unlike the other targets, his influence goes far beyond one city. He's like a puppet master for political campaigns. He guides leaders and controls what people know. William knows something that many others don't. Just using force doesn't usually change things. It's ideas, stories, and leaders who really make a difference. His methods seem very modern. He doesn't just order armies, he changes how people see things in many ways. He changes how people see things and people's perception. So in many ways, William is like a politician of today. And real politicians control not by force, but by using their influence, tricks, and sometimes deception.
Rest now. Your schemes are at an end.
What do you know of my work?
I know that you are going to murder Richard and claim Acre for your son Conrad.
For Conrad, my son is an arse, unfit to lead his host, let alone a kingdom. And Richard, the Ancien is no better, blinded as he is by faith in the insubstantial. Acre does not belong to either of them.
Then who?
The city belongs to its people.
How can you claim to speak for the citizens? You stole their food, disciplined them without mercy, forced them into service under you.
Everything I did to prepare them for the new world. Stole their food? No. I took possession so that when the lean times came, it might be rationed properly. Look around. My district is without crime, save those committed by you and your ilk. And as for the conscription, they were not being trained to fight. They were being taught the merits of order and discipline. These things are hardly evil.
No matter how noble you believe your intentions, these acts are cruel and cannot continue.
We'll see how sweet they are, the fruits of your labors. You do not free the cities as you believe, but rather damn them. And in the end, you'll have only yourself to blame. You who speak of good intentions.
Majid uses his power to make things seem right. He hides behind rules, procedures, and traditions. Everything that he does on the outside seems okay. It's official and lawful, and that's what makes him so dangerous. His executions are all legal. His cruelty is part of the system. His violence is bureaucratic. He shows one of Assassin's Creed's most important ideas. Just like a certain Austrian painter, tyranny rarely comes waving a flag. It usually arrives in the uniform of order and stability.
Your work here is finished.
No! It had only just begun!
Tell me, what's your part in all of this? Do you intend to defend yourself as the others have and explain away your evil deeds?
The Brotherhood wanted the city. I wanted power. There was an opportunity.
An opportunity to murder innocents.
Not so innocent. Dissident voices cut deep as steel. They disrupt order. In this, I do agree with the Brotherhood.
You'd kill people simply for believing differently than you.
Of course not. I killed them because I could. Because it was fun. Do you know what it feels like to determine another man's fate? And did you see the way the people cheered? The way they feared me? I was like a god. You'd have done the same if you could. Such power.
Once perhaps. But then I learned what becomes of those who lift themselves above others.
And what is that?
Here, let me show you.
Sibrand lives in fear. Fear of his assassination, fear of betrayal, fear of losing control. Every decision he makes comes from his deep paranoia. Every action becomes defensive, and eventually his paranoia consumes him. The irony of all this is striking. The man terrified of assassins ultimately creates the conditions for his own downfall. His story highlights another theme. Fear is one of the most effective tools of control. Just look back a few years to how the world was during the outbreak of a virus of unspecified origins. People willingly surrender their freedom when they're convinced danger is everywhere.
Don't do this.
You are afraid.
Of course I am afraid.
But you'll be safe now, held in the arms of your god.
Have my brothers taught you nothing? I know what waits for me. For all of us.
If not your god, then what?
Nothing. Nothing waits. And that is what I fear.
You don't believe.
How could I, given what I know? What I've seen? Our treasure was the proof
Proof of what?
that this life is all we have.
Linger a while longer then, and tell me of the part you were to play.
A blockade by sea to keep the fool kings and queens from sending reinforcements once we
Conquered the Holy Land?
freed it, you fool, from the tyranny of faith.
Freedom? You worked to overthrow cities, control men's minds, murdered any who spoke against you.
I followed my orders, believing in my cause, same as you.
If there is a target who most directly opposes the assassin philosophy, it's probably Joubert. He burns and destroys books, he destroys records, erases knowledge, because knowledge creates questions, and questions create doubt. And doubt threatens ultimate authority. He believes ignorance protects people. Ignorance is bliss, after all. Dangerous ideas should all be erased, and the truth should be controlled. History is written by the victors. And for Altaïr, this is important. His journey is now more challenging than what we think. Joubert tries to stop him from asking questions. Knowledge is becoming a battleground. Information is turning into power. And now the game, that is almost 20 years old, feels rather modern.
Why? Why have you done this?
Men must be free to do what they believe. It is not our right to punish one for thinking what they do, no matter how much we disagree.
Then what?
You of all people should know the answer. Educate them. Teach them right from wrong. It must be knowledge that frees them, not force.
They do not learn, fixed in their ways as they are. You are naive to think otherwise. It's an illness for which there is but one cure.
You're wrong, and that's why you must be put to rest.
Am I not unlike those precious books you seek to save? A source of knowledge with which you disagree, yet you are rather quick to steal my life.
A small sacrifice to save many. It is necessary.
Is it not ancient scrolls that inspire the Crusaders? That fill Salah ad-Din and his men with a sense of righteous fury? Their texts endanger others, bring death in their wake. I too was making a small sacrifice. It matters little now. Your deed is done, and so am I.
For the majority of the game, Robert seems like our biggest enemy. He's the main baddie. He's a big, bold bloke. As a bald man, I feel like we're always portrayed as bad guys in media. We're either bad guys or a buff bloke in a jungle played by Dwayne the Cock Johnson. Anyway, back to Robert. He's the Grandmaster of the Knights Templar. He's a commander, a strategist, and a conqueror. The obvious final boss, which is exactly why his role is clever. When Altaïr finally faces him, Robert reveals something surprising. He isn't the mastermind, he's just part of a bigger plan. He's a piece of a puzzle, a bigger idea, a bigger conflict. The revelation changes the entire story, that the enemy isn't just one person, the enemy is an idea that goes beyond people and countries, an idea that lives on after death. In Assassin's Creed, none of the relationships are more important than the growing friendship between Altaïr and Malik. At first, Malik has every reason to dislike Altaïr. Altaïr's cockiness and his shitty actions led to Kadar's death. He didn't heed warnings, he caused suffering, and Malik paid the ultimate price for this. His brother's gone, his army's gone, his life is ruined. His future is forever changed. But what follows is one of the franchise's most subtle character journeys. Initially, their conversations are hostile, cold, resentful, and bitter. Every interaction reminds Altaïr of his epic failures. But slowly something starts to shift. Altaïr listens, he learns, he grows and matures, and Malik notices. Respect begins to replace the anger, understanding replaces the resentment, and eventually a friendship blossoms. Malik's forgiveness becomes one of the most meaningful moments in the entire game, because it confirms what the players already suspect. Altaïr is no longer the same person. The brilliance of Altaïr's character arc is in its restraint and its gentle pace. There's no dramatic speeches, emotional breakdowns, or cinematic declarations. There's no single defining moment. Instead, change appears naturally and gradually. It's almost invisible. At the beginning, Altaïr speaks with certainty. By the middle, Altaïr speaks with curiosity. And by the end, Altaïr has wisdom. His greatest achievement isn't defeating enemies, it's learning humility and humanity. And that transformation prepares him for the truth that awaits. Because soon, Altaïr will discover that the greatest threat to the Brotherhood isn't the Templars, it's the man who leads it, Big Boss Man Big Al. For most other Assassin's Creed, Mualim seems like the perfect mentor. He's wise, measured, disciplined, patient, and he guides Altaïr. He pushes when we're needed, and he rewards when deserved, almost like a father-son relationship. Everything about his presence encourages trust, which is why the final act of the game works so well. The game isn't just about defeating villains, it's about growing, questioning authority, including the authority that we admire. Looking back, it's fascinating to see something that I either missed the first time or I just forgot about. But Big Al constantly talks about knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and his truth. But he rarely discusses restraint, limits, or his accountabilities. At first, these omissions often seem small, but eventually a pattern starts to emerge. The mentor isn't just teaching Altaïr, he's like an expert manipulator. He's grooming him, he's shaping him, guiding him, and manipulating him. Each assassination brings Altaïr closer to understanding this conspiracy, but it also removes another obstacle standing between Mualim and the power that he desires. The targets Altaïr kills are not random. They're all connected members of a secret alliance that are pursuing the same goal, the Apple of Eden. The Apple of Eden represents one of the most important concepts in Assassin's Creed. Until now, the game has largely presented itself as a piece of historical fiction. The Apple changes everything in the universe of the game, suddenly making the franchise science fiction. The artifact possesses impossible abilities, creating illusions, manipulating perception, projecting knowledge and influencing our behaviour. And most importantly, like the apple in the garden, it tempts. Every major figure who encounters the apple becomes convinced that they can use it responsibly, believing they can use it for the greater good. The Templars believe that they can create peace, and Mualim believes that he can protect freedom. And both arrive at the same destination, control. The apple is not a weapon, it is a test of philosophy. And almost everyone fails this test. As Altaïr pieces together the truth, an unsettling realization dawns. It seems the Assassins and Templars aren't really squabbling over the future. They're actually locked in a battle for the very same thing. The same power, the same temptation, the same tool. The real question isn't who gets the apple, it's what happens after they do. Both sides are painting themselves as heroes and claiming to be on the right side of the moral compass. They both think they know what's best for everyone, but the real difference is how they get there. The Templars want to keep things in order by controlling everyone, and the Assassins want to give people freedom by letting them make their own choices. But the game keeps showing us how easily that line can blur, especially when power comes into play. Robert's final moments gave us one of the story's biggest revelations.
It's done then. Your schemes, like you, are put to rest.
You know nothing of schemes. You're but a puppet. He betrayed you, boy, just as he betrayed me.
Speak sense, Templar, or not at all.
9 men he sent you to kill, yes. The 9 who guarded the treasure's secret.
What of it?
It wasn't 9 who found the treasure, assassin. Not 9, but 10.
A 10th? None may live who carry the secret. Give me his name.
Oh, but you know him well. And I doubt very much you'd take his life as willingly as you've taken mine.
Who?
It is your master, Mualim.
But he is not a Templar.
Did you never wonder how it is he knew so much? Where to find us, how many we numbered, what we aspired to attain?
He is the master of the Assassins.
We, master of lies. You and I just two more pawns in his grand game. And now, with my death, only you remain. Do you think he'll let you live, knowing what you do?
I've no interest in the treasure.
Ah, but he does. The only difference between your master and I is that he did not want to share.
No.
Ironic, isn't it? That I, your greatest enemy, kept you safe from harm. But now you've taken my life, and in the process, ended your own.
Until now, Altaïr has seen the conflict as clear-cut. Assassins are good, and Templars are bad. But Robert shakes that up a bit. He reveals the conspiracy, the alliance, the apple, and most importantly, that Mualim is in on it. For the first time, Altaïr realizes he might have been tricked. The targets were enemies, but they were also witnesses. People who knew too much, and stood between Mualim and the artifact. And suddenly every assassination feels different. The story changes, and Altaïr's journey reaches its climax. When Altaïr returns to Masyaf, he finds something unsettling. The Brotherhood has changed. The people have changed. Reality itself seems twisted, and the apple has already started to take hold. Citizens obey without question. Assassins attack without hesitation. Individual thought is disappearing, and free will is being replaced. And for the first time in the entire game, Altaïr finally fully understands what is at stake. It is not territory, not wealth, not political power, but choice itself. The final battle is unlike anything else in the game. Big Al doesn't rely on swordsmanship. He uses deception, illusion, perception. The battlefield becomes uncertain. Enemies duplicate. Reality fractures and breaks. The apple transforms the encounter into a test of understanding, because Altaïr's true victory isn't physical, it is intellectual. He finally sees clearly. He questions what he sees, questions what he is told. He questions authority, questions certainty. The very lessons he spent the game learning, and in doing so, he finally defeats his mentor.
Impossible. The student does not defeat the teacher.
الشيء واقع مطلق بل كل ممكن.
So it seems. You have won then. Go and claim your prize.
You held fire in your hand, old man. It should have been destroyed.
Destroy the only thing capable of ending the Crusades and creating true peace? Never.
Then I will.
We'll see about that.
Mualim's death completes the central theme of Assassin's Creed. It's easy to get carried away when you know things, but if you do have the humility, it can be risky. Like having power without being held accountable can lead to corruption. Even the best intentions can turn into tyranny, if not handled carefully. The mentor falls because he thinks he is beyond temptation. Altaïr succeeds because he knows no one is immune to it. This applies to kings, Templars, assassins, mentors, and even your girlfriend who's sat swiping on Tinder right now while you're playing Fortnite. The student surpasses the master, not by being stronger, but by being wiser. One of the most famous lines in gaming is the Assassin's Brotherhood motto: nothing is true, everything is permitted, and it is also one of the most misunderstood. At the start of the game, Altaïr does not quite get it. He sees it as freedom, a chance to be a dick, to do whatever he wants without consequence. But by the end of the game, he gets a much deeper understanding. Nothing is true means you have to question everything you think you know, challenge what you are certain about, and question who is in charge and what they believe. Everything is permitted means you have to take responsibility for your actions. You have to face the consequences and accept the real world. The creed is not just permission, it's about being accountable, and we should all learn from this and take responsibility for our own actions. The phrase becomes the end of Altaïr's journey, the final lesson, and the moment he truly becomes not just an assassin, but someone who understands the true meaning of the creed. As Altaïr's story reaches its end, the franchise's larger story begins. Desmond wakes up. The experiment appears complete, but something has changed. Exposure to the Animus has created what future games will call the bleeding effect. Memories are leaking through, skills are transferring, and his perception is changing. Suddenly, Desmond begins seeing things that he shouldn't. He sees symbols, messages, warnings. The walls of his room become covered with cryptic writings left by Subject 16, who was the previous test subject. He was a man driven insane by what he had discovered in the Animus. Subject 16 serves as the franchise's first great mystery. His messages reference ancient civilizations, religious symbolism, apocalyptic events, lost knowledge, future catastrophes, but nothing is explained. Everything is implied, and the game doesn't end with answers, but more questions. Who created the apple? What happened before recorded history? Why are these symbols appearing? What is Abstergo really searching for? And why is Desmond so important? For players back in 2007, these mysteries were electrifying. The story suddenly felt much larger than the Crusades, much larger than Altaïr, and much larger than history itself. When we look back now, the original Assassin's Creed has its share of flaws. The investigation missions can feel a little samey. The side content doesn't always have a lot of variety. In fact, I've not even mentioned it here because it is practically non-existent. The collectibles don't give you a great reward, and combat is pretty straightforward. It can be very easy to get the hang of, and the pacing can be, well, uneven. But if we only focus on those things, we might miss what made it special. Assassin's Creed wasn't really important because it was perfect. It was important because it was daring. It brought social stealth to a wider audience. It made parkour a popular thing, and it created one of gaming's most unique historical settings. And it started a story that would last for ages. Most importantly, it built a solid foundation, a plan, a hidden blade from which a whole franchise would grow. And then, in 2009, Ubisoft did something amazing. They listened, they improved, they expanded. Every criticism of the original game became a goal for the new one. Every good thing about it became even better. Every idea became bigger, and the result would not only become one of the best sequels ever made, it would also create one of gaming's most beloved characters, a young Florentine nobleman, my boy, Ezio Auditore di Firenze.